Welcome back to the PCC podcast. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm actually really passionate about. And it's going to help you make sense of a lot of things, probably from your past, your weight loss history, and get to the root of how you're actually going to lose the weight you want to lose, make it stick, and feel the best you've ever had. And that is the topic of why losing weight before didn't make you confident and what actually will. Okay, so you've lost weight before and you've still felt anxious. You've still felt like you got there by luck. You still felt like this is too good to be true. I'm just gonna gain the weight back. Or you've lost weight before and you still hated what you saw in the mirror. And that's one of the worst feelings, right? Where you get there, the weight on the scale reflects what you wanted to see, but it's still empty. Your thought is like, is this it? And unfortunately, a lot of people have this thought because they're not doing the inner work that actually allows them to feel confident when they actually get to their goal. So we're going to be talking about that today. So let's start with this phenomena that we'll call it, because it's really important that you understand where this comes from, why this happens. And it's because we all tend to fall under the illusion that confidence comes after weight loss, that having the body is what makes you confident. And I will say, it makes it easier for sure, but there's a reason why there's a ton of people out there that have objectively skinnier, thinner bodies, but still have horrible body image issues, disordered eating, right? Why does that still happen? Is because your size is not directly causative to your confidence, but it makes it more likely and it makes it easier when you do lose the weight. However, there are a lot of cases, and this is most of the women that I talk to and most of the people that are probably listening to this, is that you have gotten there before, but you've gained the weight back and you've kind of yo-yoed between that and you've never been able to have it stick and you've never really truly felt satisfied with what you've seen in the mirror. And so this is the illusion that confidence comes after weight loss. It's once I achieve X, then Y. Once I see this number on the scale, then I'll be happy. Once I get my body to look this way, then I'll be confident and then I'll wear everything that I want to see or everything that I want to wear in my closet. And the reality is that doesn't happen, right? What the most common type of woman that I talk to is somebody who has lost the weight, gained it back and then some, lost that weight, gained it back and then some, lost that weight, gained it back and then some. And they've done that for their entire adult life. And when they finally get on a call with someone like me, they are telling me that they just, looking back, wished that they could have appreciated the body that they had before, right? And don't get me wrong here. This episode is not about accepting yourself no matter what and just being complacent and staying where you are. This is not about toxic body positivity, because I think that that can be taken a step or many steps too far, where we start to say things like it doesn't matter your size at all, and that can be contraindicative to actual health outcomes, right? So with that being said, right, this is about making sure that the work that you're putting in physically is also matched by the work that you're putting in mentally, so that when you get there and along the way, you can appreciate the person that you are becoming and actually keep the weight off because you didn't just chase a number, right? So let's talk about why we have to do that, right? So here's the flip for you, is that confidence does not come from the way that your body looks. It comes from how much self-trust you have. Okay, self-trust is plain and simple the act of trusting yourself. And it's when you say, I'm going to do this thing, that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to do this thing. And if you were to walk up to me right now and tell me, I'm going to go make $1 million, I'm going to go lose 20 pounds, like how much confidence do you have in saying those kinds of things? And the reality is that most of us actually operate in our lives with a very minimal amount of self-trust and self-confidence that we will do the things that we say we're going to do. And some of the most successful people out there are not the smartest, they're not the most clever, they're not the most cunning. What they have is an unwavering self-belief that they are going to achieve the thing that they said that they were going to do, even if they don't know how. Okay? And so this isn't about deluding yourself into trusting yourself by just yelling things in the mirror. This is about understanding that shrinking your body alone does not create self-trust. Okay? It doesn't do that on its own, right? Self-trust is I made the promise, I kept it. And in weight loss, how it works is you don't lose the weight unless you keep the promises that you make to yourself, particularly around food and exercise, right? But it's what are we paying attention to? Are we just crediting that the scale is going down, saying, cool, it's working, and no other thought to the process? Or are we saying, I am seeing this kind of progress because I am keeping the promises that I make to myself on a daily basis? And this is why accountability and tracking our habits can be so powerful, because you can see every single box that you've checked and really start to absorb that internally of like, I'm doing that, right? And the credit goes to you. So let's talk about confidence being built through that reliability rather than aesthetics. Okay. So we're keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. Why does this work? So I just said like we internalize that. We give ourselves the credit. How does that work? So I'm going to give you a little bit of psychology behind this so you understand that there's actual science rooted in this. It's not just woo-woo stuff. Okay. So when you keep the promises you make to yourself, you are doing what? You are taking action on your goals. When you take action, there is a consequence or a reward to any action. Every single action has a consequence or reward linked to it. And when it's something like eating the healthier meal or going to get a workout in, that reward is very inherently positive, right? And when you have that positive reward, when you're paying attention to the fact that you kept the promise to yourself, right? You start to then build the belief that you are capable of seeing this through. And it only takes a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of hope for you to start to latch onto that belief. And this is what most people get wrong, right? It's like when they start their fitness journey, they feel like they need to believe in themselves all the way to do it. You don't. All you need is to take one simple action towards your goal. And that will start to cultivate the belief that maybe you can. And all you need is that little bit of hope. And from that belief comes more motivation to then take more action. But the thing here is that the confidence was built through the action, not through some belief that just came out of nowhere. Action comes before belief. Action comes before motivation. And so that's why people who continually wait and wait and wait for motivation or for them to just suddenly believe in themselves stay stuck forever, right? And the other key here is that your confidence, your self-confidence only actually builds when you're being self-aware through this process, when you're understanding where the confidence is coming from, when you're celebrating the promises that you make to yourself, even if they're small, and focusing on the process instead of just the outcome, right? Because the outcome, new lows on the scale, those might only come like once a week, once every 2 weeks, every couple days, right? But the actions that you do on a daily basis reinforce the person that you're becoming every single day, okay? And also, this ties into our nervous system as well. Okay. And so when we are in a position where we, have lost the weight before, we've gained it back, and that hurt, right? It's not fun to get somewhere that you wanted to go and then watch it slip through your fingers, right? That is one of the most painful things because you had it. And that kind of puts a scar in your memory, right? And what happens around weight loss conversations that I have with clients that have been through this is that they become very fearful and timid and skittish around setting another goal for themselves because they don't feel safe to do so. And this is where the nervous system comes in, is your nervous system is what tells you, are you feeling safe or are you feeling threatened, right? If your nervous system is activated, then I'm feeling threatened, my fight or flight system is on, right? That's what we've all heard before about our nervous system. And so safety also comes from trusting yourself. And so when you've lost the weight and you've gained it back, and you've lost the weight, you've gained it back, and you followed these fad diets, and you don't really know what's getting your body to tick or how this actually works, you don't trust yourself. You trust systems, you trust pills, you trust shots, you trust other things that have changed your body for you when you don't actually know what you did, right? And so you lack the self-trust, so it feels scary to go for that goal again because you perceive it as a risk, right? And that's what happens when you don't have the self-trust in yourself. Your power is outsourced, so you're on edge all the time, and you're worried that things are going to knock you down because you don't know yet that every time that you lost the weight, it was because of your actions. Whether it felt like it or not, whether you took a weight loss pill, like if you took a weight loss pill, I'm sorry, you also changed a bunch of habits alongside that. You just weren't paying attention because you were accrediting the success to the weight loss pill, right? Same goes for Ozempic, same goes for whatever health endeavors you've done in the past. You've credited the success to the thing and not to yourself. And this is something we're really cognizant of with our clients at PCC. Like, would I love for them to be like, yeah, this is all PCC's doing? Like, sure, yeah, I'd love the, the pat on the back, whatever. But I actually don't want that, right? Because when our clients are successful, they know that they did that. They walk away feeling like they were the reason that they succeeded. And they credit us for the support and for the guidance. But they know at the end of the day that they're capable. And that's the difference. Okay, that's the difference between feeling like your nervous system is going to freak out on you if you are going to start a weight loss journey versus feeling secure, feeling safe in any change that you make. So the reframe here is confidence is the byproduct of how you live, not what you weigh, okay? What you weigh will change with the right tools and the right strategy, right? But it's also important to remember that your body image and your confidence can change without your body changing at all. And that starts with keeping the promises that you make to yourself every single day. And your body will change as a byproduct of that. And this is why you need strategy that can help with both, right? You need sustainable tactics for weight loss that actually move the needle, so you're not just keeping promises to yourself and not seeing progress, but also the identity integration of where are we paying attention, where are we attributing success to, and how are we making this about you actually staying where you want to be instead of just another short-term fix. So let me know if this episode related to you guys. If you found this beneficial, send me a message on Instagram because I love to get feedback from you guys on what's landing, what's not, what you guys like to hear about. So send me a message. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you back here for the next one.